The frontrunner remains undaunted at the Cairns Cup in St. Louis. Despite a surging Alice Lee gunning for the top spot, Zhongyi refuses to be caught, winning on demand against Divya Deshmukh to maintain her lead. Day 8 of exciting chess, coming up next.
Hello chess fans and welcome to day 8 of the Cairns Cup. Status quo remains unchanged. Zhongyi is still leading with 1 full point, but now we have Bibisara Assaubayeva joining Alice Lee on the 2nd place. This penultimate round is going to be very important. Will Zhongyi win the tournament with 1 round to spare, or will Bibisara slow her down? Let's go to the studio and start all the action.
Hello everyone and welcome to round 8 of the Cairns Cup. I'm Paikidze and I'm here with Almira Skripchenko. We only have 2 more days to go, but Almira, there are a few players who still have a chance at winning the crown.
Hello Nazi, hello everyone. Yes, Zhongyi is leading by a full point and made a powerful claim to the throne. But there are 2 players who are tied in 2nd, and they know that fortune is favoring the bold. Bibisara Assaubayeva and Alice Lee, they will stand their ground and they will tell Zhongyi not today. So let's find out if in our Game of Thrones things are going to change.
Absolutely, can't wait to see how today goes. Almira, remind us about the standings.
So here are the standings after round 7. Zhongyi is leading by a full point with an outstanding performance, 5.5 points out of 7. Bibisara Assaubayeva and Alice Lee both are having 4.5 points. Anna Muzychuk, Divya, Deshmukh, Carissa and Stavroula Tsolakidou are only on 50%, 3.5 out of 7. Humpy, Koneru and Vaishali, Rameshbabu are having a disappointing event. They're struggling. Both players didn't win a single game, 2.5 out of 7. And at the bottom of the standings, we can find Alexandra Kosteniuk with 1.5 points.
And tell us about the format.
The format of this event is a classical 10-player round robin. Players get 90 minutes for the first 40 moves, then an additional 30 minutes for the rest of the game. However, there is a 30-second increment starting from move 1. There are no draw offers. Players are awarded 1 point for a win, half a point for a draw, and 0 if they lose their game.
And Almira, really not much left, but what's our remaining schedule?
Well, 2 more rounds, and if the tournament is tied, then the playoffs are going to be organized on the 20th of August.
And we'll find out today if we are going to have playoffs on Thursday, right? Well, as you discussed, Almira, we have a leader, Zhongyi, but we had our own predictions before the event. I picked Alice, you picked Bibisara, Dariush picked Carissa. Let's take a look at their line scores and see how our picks are doing in this event after 7 rounds. Alice, my pick started great with 2 wins, then a draw, then a painful loss in round 4. Then she was so close to beating the tournament leader Zhongyi, let her escape. And yesterday she also let Anna Muzychuk escape. How about your pick, Almira?
Well, Bibisara Assaubayeva had somewhat of a slow start. She started with 3 draws. She is known for her aggressive style. Then she beat Alexandra Kosteniuk with the white pieces, then 2 draws, and yesterday she won a very important game, so she's getting closer to Zhongyi and she's facing her today.
And Carissa's tournament, she started with a loss, then she bounced back with a win, but since then it's been only draws, which is very much not like her. She's usually a very decisive player, win-loss, win-loss. This is quite unusual to see 5 draws for her.
Yeah, and it's a tournament of missed opportunities for Carissa.
Definitely. And let's check out a head-to-head. Today we have a very important match between Zhongyi. Actually, my bad, I'm going to also add line score of our leader, Zhongyi. She's doing great. She started with a 2 out of 2, then made 1 draw, 1 again with the white pieces, 2 draws, and a very important win yesterday. And now let's go to head-to-head. Today she's facing Bibisara Assaubayeva, a very crucial game. They've faced each other many times in the classical chess. They have 5 draws, 2 wins for Tan, and 1 win for Bibisara.
However, Bibisara is known once again for her aggressive, uncompromising style, but especially with the black pieces. So I'm looking forward to this game.
And let's see one more head-to-head between Vaishali, World Championship challenger, and Alice Lee. They have never faced each other in classical. They have definitely played each other online, Rapid and Blitz, but this is their first classical matchup, and can't wait to see how it goes.
Yes, and Alice Lee has this unique chance to play against the World Championship challenger.
Such a great opportunity for her. And Almira, tell us about all the pairings for round 8.
So, right, let's have a look at the pairings. Here we are, Zhongyi taking on with the white pieces Bibisara Assaubayeva, Vaishali Rameshbabu, who still didn't score a single victory in the event, will play against Alice Lee. Carissa with the white pieces against Stavroula Tsolakidou. Humpy Koneru, who's also looking for her first win, is paired against her compatriot Divya Deshmukh, and Muzychuk is playing against Alexandra Kosteniuk.
Great matchups on every board. And Almira, tell us about the prize fund in this event.
So we are getting closer to the money, $250,000, and the first place is awarded with $60,000. Second place gets $50,000, and third place gets $40,000. Nazi, I'm excited even reading it. So, and there is a winner's bonus of $5,000.
Great prizes for everybody. Thank you to St. Louis Chess Club for sponsoring this event. And when the playing hall players are arriving, that's Bibisara Assaubayeva looking for her board. And you see Zhongyi.
So both players are already there. Nazi, we've been talking about their score, head-to-head score, but I did my homework. So their last 2 classical encounters, especially when Zhongyi was having the white pieces, she started with e4 because she had 2 painful losses against Bibisara in the King's Indian, and she decided not to use this opening anymore. So I am really curious to find out if Zhongyi will start with e4 today.
I think, given what you told us, e4 is something we should expect. Has she tried knight f3?
No, not yet. However, after e4, she was trying to steer the games towards the more positional play, like bishop b5, the Rosalima, or bishop b5 check. So given the tournament situation, I will not be surprised if she chooses some forced line, but also like where she can secure a draw.
But she's playing with the white pieces. I think she wants to possibly end the tournament today by winning it, so I wouldn't be surprised if she goes for something sharp to play for a win today, because this is her last white pieces, and in the last round when you only need a draw, that's a good position to be in.
Yes, but once again, how do you make a draw against Bibisara? If you play e4, she will certainly play the Sicilian. Then if you play d4, she will play the King's Indian.
She forces you to play on and play for more than a draw, so I think it's going to be a great matchup.
You know, so we're going to shout like, fight!
They are definitely ready to fight, and both of them coming off of a win, right? Yesterday, Bibisara won a beautiful game against Stavroula, and Tan beat Divya.
Yes, and it was
a crazy game.
A Tan classic.
Yeah, she sacrificed so much material.
Yeah, and she was in her element in this game. She sacrificed a few pawns, then the third pawn. She tried to get some initiative, and finally Divya made a mistake.
It all worked out perfectly. How about this matchup? We have Muzychuk and Kosteniuk. These 2 players have not won a single game.
But they know each other so well. They've played so many games, like I've checked them. Alexandra is currently leading by a narrow margin, +1 in their classical counters. But Alexandra is having the black pieces, and Anna made all draws. So what are we expecting in this game, Nazi?
Another draw?
Another
would
draw,
be a good
probably,
bet, yeah.
Yes. But I think that Anna will try with the white pieces. She's very well prepared, of course, but she's not going to take any risks today.
She survived a game yesterday. So yeah, it makes sense to not take a lot of risks. And here we have World Championship challenger Vaishali, who's also still looking for her first win in this event. And today she's playing a player, Alice Lee, who is sharing second. Will she play a spoiler for Alice?
Well, we will find out, especially at this point. Vaishali doesn't have anything to lose. Her tournament didn't go as she thought, and especially since winning the candidates, she needs to prepare for her forthcoming match. At the same time, she has to perform, but she cannot reveal her preparation. It's not an easy spot.
Definitely not. And Alice needing 1.5 out of 2 points to make her GM norm. Today she has black against Vaishali. Tomorrow she's playing her friend Carissa Yip with the white pieces. But we'll see what happens. Games are off, and Tan chose D4. She's no longer afraid.
So we are going to see the King's Indian on the board. That is not a surprise, but then I am curious to find out which line Tan Zhongyi prepared for today's game. G6. Then,
if you remember in their previous encounter, was it the classical King's Indian?
Yes, but classical, somewhat classical, because Tan likes to play bishop b3, bishop b2. She likes the plan with g4. So sometimes she played with bishop b3 without bishop b2. So we will find out.
But she's not a g3 player.
No, I haven't seen her playing g3. So e4 is on the board. So bishop b2. Yes, so maybe she's going for Peterson, King's Indian.
I think they're going to blitz out many moves in this line.
Bishop b2 and bishop b3.
So she's not developing the knight yet.
She wants to go for h3 here. So knight a6. Oh, what a surprise. So knight a6 without knight f3. I've played this move with knight f3 here, Nazi. Because it's like with bishop b2, knight f3, and then you play knight a6.
So the plan is to play e5 and get the knight on c5, right?
Yes, and sometimes you also support it by playing queen e8 if you want to avoid the queen trades. You see, because Tan can change trade pawns on e5 and trade queens. So then you continue by queen e8, and then you play e5, and the knight on e6 is protecting on c7. So if knight jumps to b5, wow, you can see that Tan is surprised here. So she didn't reply instantly.
I see in my database that most common move is knight f3, but the same amount of games have been played after g4.
Yeah, exactly. But so knight f3 will transpose to the main line. And then Bibisara has a choice, but maybe she has prepared queen e8. But g4 is certainly possible, and I think that was Tan preparation, because she wanted to go for g4.
Then she might go right away without knight f3 first. I'm just going to show the main line after g4, what we can expect. e5, d5, knight comes to c5, all logical. And instead of putting the knight on f3, you end up putting the pawn, like in the Zamish variation. And after a5, you just go h4, and you're all in, already committed.
I think that black has to play h5 here. No, it's even before a5, maybe h5 was interesting or not? Or
I'm following the main lines of the theory. There's still thousands of games in this position, and this is how it usually goes. Knight goes to b6, f2, and yeah, this becomes closed, but there's still attacking chances for sure, and white actually can castle either way.
Well, one of their games followed, had such position on the board, and Tan Zhongyi didn't castle long, and then Bibisara lost a pawn, but didn't created like such fireworks on the board that Tan Zhongyi collapsed.
Wow. We'll see what she chooses. This is her first deep think, deciding to transpose to main lines of knight f3 or go for early g4. Of course, there's many other moves as well, like h3.
But then h3, you will have to play knight f3 because you are not losing a tempo here. Yeah. So h3, it's only because in the main line with knight f3, black can also play knight g4. So maybe white is playing h3 with this idea, anticipating this jump.
All right, we're going to come back to this after a couple more moves. Let's go to Alice Lee game and see what opening they've chosen. And we have Gioco Piano.
But Gioco Piano with an early bishop e3. This line has become very popular lately, so white is not afraid. If black takes on e3, they will open the f file. However, like if I'm playing white this position, I feel I have nothing. Yes, if I'm playing black with this position, I feel that I still have to equalize. That's how it goes.
So a difficult opening for both colors.
Well, I think that since it's became popular only later, maybe you still have to understand all the nuances and intricacies to study it a bit more, so and to study classical games. Yes, so Queen D2. It's actually
Queen D2 is somewhat rare. White usually just castles.
Exactly. That's why I was looking at this move, because I haven't seen it on the board.
Yeah, and after this move, Bishop B3 that Vaishali just played, there's only 2 games in the database, so we're already in a new territory. Wonder what she has prepared. Maybe she just wants to get Alice out of her preparation, because Alice is very well prepped in the openings and just wants to play a game.
Nadia, one of the questions that I always had here is that, especially in the Gioco Piano, if you are given a possibility to play an early d5, so I just wanted to understand the subtleties here. So what happens if we take on d5, knight d5, yes, and white cannot play in
Maybe
the same
knight
way.
c3.
Yes, okay, knight c3.
Challenge the center. Are you going to trade? Go to b6. You can play bishop e6 as well.
But I understand the point. But because even if you play knight b6, then bishop b3, well, this bishop is becoming very dangerous. So the f is open. It will be easier for white even to short castle and then to double the rooks. Yes,
On the f file.
on the f file, and then okay, maybe queen e7 and bishop b6, the standard plan. Can I use it here?
I think it's very solid for black to get rid of this good bishop on b3, and white still needs to prove an advantage. Maybe at some point we gotta play e4.
Okay, so here, okay, I understand. Maybe the knight on b6 is misplaced, but I always thought that the knight on f6 is a bit misplaced too, because like I always have ideas to sacrifice rook f6. So knight h4, rook f6, and but the dark square bishops are traded. I think the best place for this knight is maybe d6 here. So you need to maybe to deploy it elsewhere.
Yeah, slightly awkward placement for the knight, but other than that, no issues in the position. But Vaishali played bishop b3, and we have knight e7 on the board. I think she's moving this knight to g6.
It's a very standard plan, used both in Gioco Piano and the Ruy Lopez, the Spanish opening. However, now we start to understand that this pawn on e3 is guarding all the squares, all the important squares, d4 and f4. So knight g6 is probably more to anticipate here the knight h4 and knight f5. I think
it's prophylaxis.
Yes, prophylaxis. It's very interesting, but after that, the only jump that white knight will have is to g5. And
all right, seems like Alice is very well prepared for this line. We're going to come back to it. What else has caught your eye?
well, for the moment, there are only a few moves that have been played in the game between Carissa and Stavroula, so maybe we will come back to this game later.
It's Ruy Lopez, right?
Yes, but
Possibly Berlin.
Yes, possibly Berlin, and that's why Carissa is thinking. So just let's show you the position that it's only a few moves have been played, and Carissa is already in deep thought.
Yeah, I think she didn't expect the Berlin offer, and she's deciding if she should go for the end game or keep the queens on the board.
Yeah, she can play g3, but she can also go for the end game and then go for the symmetrical position, yes, where you like it reminds me of Petrov, of course, and those positions are very similar. So maybe let's get to the game between Anna Muzychuk and Alexandra Kosteniuk, because the French defense happened there.
Is this our first French defense at the Cairns Cup?
Probably, yes. Like it's not an easy opening. It's always frowned upon by the computers.
Well, I've been commentating on Grand Chester, and the guys are playing this
Yes.
all the time.
Because once again, there was a revival of this opening, so a few lines have been repaired. You know, it's like if I use the chess jargon vocabulary. So let's have a look. Alexandra actually went for the main line, bishop b4, and a3 was played immediately. So here, yes, let's...
There was e5, and they followed this
But
line.
bishop d2 is already a small surprise.
Yeah, a3 is the main move here,
Yes.
with almost more than 500,000 games in the database. So instead, bishop d2, more niche variation, but still thousands and thousands of games in this position. But often it's b takes e3. Of course, if you develop the bishop on d2, might as well take with the bishop. And this is the current position.
So first of all, in this variation, black doesn't allow white to go for the immediate queen g4. That's the main difference. Yes. So if you play a3, that's because you very often you go for queen g4, queen g7,
Right.
a lot of forced lines, and those structures have been analyzed till the move 40. I fear. So we have a very interesting position right now because Alexandra played b6. She wants to develop the bishop on b7 here. The knight is not on c3, so maybe after queen c7, it's also interesting how Anna will react because c takes d4 will be a threat. And maybe also b6 doesn't allow d takes c5, Nazi. So now that the bishop is on c3.
I see in our database that b4 is the most common move.
Oh, b4.
Which is a strange looking move to me because in the French you don't see white playing f4 very often. But that was the most popular move in this position.
Well, then probably Alexandra and Anna are still in their preparation. But let's say after b6, b4. So actually b6 is anticipating then b4 if it's the main move. And queen c7, what if you make them, or c takes d... both moves are useful here. So let's start with something. Yes, then you want to take it and then castle. So
probably develop bishop somewhere e2 or d3 and castle.
But the thing is, one of the main ideas in this line is to play d4 and to sacrifice another pawn. So I think that with the bishop on c3, you don't even have to think about it. So let's say...
That's why I put the bishop here. I didn't want to be in check.
No, but I thought that you were going to take with the bishop. So let's go for 2 pawns, yes?
You know, I love the bishops, so I didn't want to give it away.
So, but let's check this variation. So I'm pretty sure that after bishop b7 and rook d8, black is having a fantastic position.
Yeah, you can't even tell it's from the French. Look at this bishop.
Yeah. But queen c3 here, so what do? You still have to win one of those. Yes, so...
No, black is completely fine here. White hasn't achieved anything, so... Maybe b4 is not the best move, even though it was played a lot.
Can you try h4? There is another plan that players use against the French defense with white. And now that the knight is on e7, it's not easy to bring your rook into play. They like to play rook h3 and rook g3. But it can be useful. First of all, you play h5, and maybe you force black to play h6. Because otherwise all the dark squares will belong to the white pieces. I mean, after h5. Well, maybe here.
Black playing h5.
No. I thought that I will play h5 and then you will play h5.
Yeah,
but even
we
here...
don't have a move for blacks.
Okay, if you play h6, I will play h5. So you will still have to make a move. And maybe castle here. And can I play g4 here? Okay, no, maybe if not rook h3, then rook g1.
Yeah, and just like typical French opening, we got to break through with f6 at some point.
Oh, but I will take g5, you will take.
I was hoping that since your king is still here, this wouldn't work.
Yes, but I thought, maybe knight g5, and then you will play e5, or
take first.
Oh, take first. Wow, no.
Bishop
Black is
out.
certainly fine here.
Should be fine, right?
Maybe I should prepare it with rook g1 and leave the knight on f3, but as you can see, these positions are very double-edged, of course, and the 3 results are possible.
Absolutely, and we have one more game to check. It's Humpy Koneru against Divya Deshmukh, and okay, we have what is this line called? Vienna variation, right? Queen's
Yes.
Gambit declined. E3, A6. Okay, so it kind of transposed into Queen's Gambit accepted. And here Koneru, wow, she's already thinking for 10 minutes, deciding where to step back with the bishop. They're all playable, actually.
Yeah, I was playing the Queen's Gambit accepted for so many years, and I was
black?
facing, yes, with black, bishop b3, bishop d3, but because Divya started with knight c3, I think that maybe bishop b3 is more interesting, because if Humpy goes for c5, then she will be able to push d5, yes, and to transpose to a very well-known line.
Devious with black, so if she goes for
Yes,
c5,
yes,
then
yes,
d5.
Humpy, yes. I mean, not immediately, because you need first to castle, but
Yeah, the ideas of d5. Yeah.
but then I still remember the match those two players played in the World Cup. You know, Nazi, they were playing the final match for the title, and their first classical games were drawn, and they were decided. The match was decided in the rapid portion, and Divya won with the black pieces. So Humpy, I think, is trying to avoid a few lines that happened in this match. So let's see. But maybe she also wants to play bishop d3 here. But then c5.
Clearly, she's considering this. That's why she's taking such a long time. So we'll see what decision she comes to. I want to go back to our marquee matchup today. We'll be focusing on two boards mostly. Three players have a chance at the crown. Let's see how Zhongyi played against the King's Indian. I'm going to go back to knight a6. This is where we left off. She went for h3. And transposing, right? a5, knight f3. Yes.
Yes, after h3, Bibisara used the standard plan. She played e5. However, here, you know, I was thinking, what if d takes c5? She was not afraid, like just to show our audience, because Bibisara needs to win this game. She was not afraid to trade queens.
Like I told you, 10 is not playing for a draw. She would never go for this in this game, because then in the last round, if she draws, Alice can still catch her and then playoffs. So I think it was like mutual. We both want to play for a win. Mutual understanding. No one's going to take on e5.
And the thing is, yes, I just wanted to show that this position is already fine for black, only after this trade. Yep. So Tan was absolutely right. She played d5, knight c5, queen c2, and knight f3. So now we have somewhat of a classical version of a King's Indian. Here,
black needs to decide where to put the knight before playing for f5.
Yes, or you can, like, you also have c6, but maybe not immediately. Like, I'm feeling, what happens if bishop takes on c5? You don't want to make this move, but like c6. I feel that bishop c5 is a bit premature.
Yeah,
here.
I think problem with c6 is just simply rook d1.
Then c takes d5.
Maybe now I'm going to take.
Oh, okay, now you're going to take, okay. Not even knight d5. I was a bit afraid of this, but then...
I'm not threatening anything. All the discovery moves are covered. But I like c takes d5 and having this protected passer.
Yes, and controlling the b5 square is very important. And black's counterplay can only be on the king side, yes. f5 is the only move, but then... you're given so many squares.
I'm kind of surprised that Bibisara is thinking here, because there's over 5,000 games in the database, and of course she knows this line. She's just choosing, I guess, which line to go for. Knight h5. I've faced this many, many times. And yes, there's always an option of bishop c5. And maybe that's why she's going to start with b6, just to not worry about this.
She wants to take with the b pawn, of course. Sometimes black can also play bishop d7 and a4, but maybe Bibisara is seriously considering bishop c5, so she wants to anticipate this move. But I like knight h5. I think it's one of the most natural way to approach this position. But let's try, yes.
There is this option to take
what is
and castle
going on? Yes, and your knight is somewhat misplaced here. Yes, you want to put it on d6.
Yeah.
Maybe
so you want the knight to be on
is
e8.
hesitating.
She played b6. Makes sense. She just wants to be ready. If now you take, I'll take with the b pawn, and I'm all good. So forget about this line.
What if g4 now?
G4 is the main move.
And I know that Zhongyi loves this move, especially against the King's Indian.
I have dozens of games in this opening. I think this variation got me the IM title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, Nazi, tell me, Bibisara hesitated before playing b6 because probably she knows that if g4 is played on the board, and she knows the King's Indian, it's her favorite opening very well, so she will need to pin her hopes on c6. But after playing b6, like, how can you play c6 comfortably?
Not comfortable, but
Yeah.
you still go with bishop d7 and c6, yeah, and then you take with the bishop.
Or will she go for knight e8 and f5? But I know
That's
that
another idea. Yeah.
yes, but I know that this position is considered to be worse.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly if you start with rook g1 or castle first. I think rook g1 and on f5 you take once and then you castle. Yeah, this is
Okay.
trying to remember my analysis from 10 years ago.
Where is this notebook? Yes, I want to see it. However, once again, the computer will always give quite a large advantage in every line in the King's Indian, but things are completely different on the board. You know, it's like every move can cost you the game. And Bibisara actually likes those positions as well.
She does.
So it's a fight. Nazi, we will
This
see.
is a great opening to have in this penultimate round where both players need a win to fight for the first place.
By the way, Carissa has finally made the move. Maybe we should show that she decided to play d3 and not allow the and
The Berlin?
now wait for it. Knight e7. Like, I love chess.
So tell me, what's the idea? Why can't I take the
You
free
will
pawn?
lose the piece because after c6 you will have queen a5 check.
Doesn't matter where you go.
Yes.
This is a famous trap to know.
Well, it became famous only lately because people start playing knight e7 only. Like, I feel like maybe just a year ago because they've tried everything here after d3 and they decided why not to transpose the knight to g6 immediately.
Yeah.
Why to waste all this tempi?
Especially because it's working out tactically. Pawn is not hanging.
But now, yes, what I wanted to say, because bishop a4 was played, but I had the feeling that after d3, knight e7, there were some games. Nazi, can you check with d4? Because you played d3 and then knight e7, then I think white can play d4, or it never happened. Maybe it was not here.
There are a couple hundred games with d4, yeah.
Ah, okay. But what is the main line then?
Castle.
Oh, castle is the
Castle,
main line.
90,
Okay.
wait, 95? People fell for this? So it's castle and c3, the main two moves. But yep, d4 has been tried as well.
But then Carissa decided to try a move of her own after c6.
Just to cover
yes.
this check. c6, bishop moves back, and
b4
knight g6.
Knight g6.
So she's definitely going to play d4 sooner or later. Let's say castle, bishop e7, maybe rook e1, castles. Well, black is also going for d5, right?
Yeah, but that's actually the main difference between the lines in Ruy Lopez and Joe Copiano, that in this line, black can be first and play d5, because usually white is first to play d4. But here, if you start with knight e7, then yes, I agree with you, d5 is a
Then
very
you may
interesting
have to
move.
take with the queen and have this type of position. Rook e8, something like this.
But then you have knight c4, yes, you're attacking the pawn on e5, so bishop g4 maybe.
For some trades.
Yeah, oh, this...
Wait, I
It's a
take.
very interesting
here.
line. Let's
We're going to
check
have
it
two
with-
bishops versus two knights. Yeah. Maybe small edge for white because of the bishops, but black doesn't have any weak pawns. The knights are fine. Should be holdable, of course.
But if you don't force things and if you play d6, which I think it's...
Instead of d5,
yes, it's one of the alternatives
then
here.
yes, white is going to
Then
go
white
d4.
is going to play d4.
Put the bishop on c2. This is very much Ruy Lopez style play for white and for black.
Yes, but with the knight on g6, I feel like... Then you will have to play knight f1, knight g3 anyway. Yes, and h3, bishop b3. And we will have a theoretical battle.
Yes,
On the
a long
board.
game.
Then,
Alright.
yes, because, okay, a few moves have been played in the game between Humpy, Koneru and Divya Deshmukh. Humpy decided to play bishop d3, and after c5, she played immediately a4. This move is very useful because you are forcing black to react. So either you play b4 and you are giving up a very important c4 square. So sometimes the knight is going there, knight g2, knight c4. Either you take on a4, but I think that this continuation is leading to a much worse position for black.
Yeah, so even after I just castle, you're just going to have a problem on a6
So
for
I
the rest of your
played
game.
b4 on several occasions, and then here, yes, the difference is that Humpy has this move, knight e4. So bishop b7. I actually tried this line with the bishop on b7 first and then c5, so because it can't happen. So what is the difference?
Does black take here with the pawn or the queen? Of course, queen is the most natural way, but could they take with the pawn?
I think I have never had this position in my career, so it's very interesting to understand, because if you take with the queen is somewhat misplaced. I'm not afraid that you will take on f3. So I'm always looking at the c5 pawn and how to protect it. So let's say queen c2, no, but maybe
Knight
then...
d7, right?
Oh, queen c2, you don't allow me to play on, to take on f3 either.
True, but I think you just play knight d7, rook c8, and is my queen really well placed? Although on rook c8 you go queen e2, right? That's the idea.
Yeah, but I think that if you play queen c2 here is to play bishop b4. Because, you know, while the queen is on f6, the queen side is completely unguarded, so...
Do I have this?
No,
I'm sneaking some moves, because on queen d3 I go c4.
let me play in a positional way. Let me dominate you. It's like computer moves are coming, you know, my way. I have no idea what to... Also, if I play queen d3, c4, and then queen b1.
Yeah, I don't think you should let me play c4 with a tempo, but just step back queen b1, and this is a very interesting position. Let's see what players have chosen. b4 on the board, but on after knight d4, not bishop b7. Divya chose knight d7. She wants to take back with the knight, which makes a lot of sense.
I think it's even better than bishop b7 then, yes, of
It's
course.
more accurate, yes, because you were saying queen was misplaced on f6. So she solved this problem first. Next, she's going to play bishop b7.
Yes, but I know from experience, I've seen so many bad positions when I was playing. And every time I was thinking, okay, but how did this happen? You know, there are so many subtleties, because the position can be very symmetrical in this opening. But here, this inclusion a4 in b4 change a lot of things. So after knight d7, maybe Humpy will take on f6. Can she exploit the fact that she can take on c5 also then? And you cannot take with the knight. Let's say take on f6, knight is here, and take on c5. So you will have maybe e4 included, but yeah,
b7, you gotta
queen
move the
e2.
queen.
No, but this position is fine.
Yep.
And whenever you move your rook, by the way, I will always have knight g4, so you have to be careful. So even if you castle, say it's not easy for you to play rook d1.
Yes, I also have some painful memories with white from here. You think your position is fine, you're better, and then one move and, I'm in trouble.
So maybe not e4, by the way. I think that if... No, not take on. Okay, let's try another line, and maybe here knight f6. Let's try knight f6 here. What else can we do? White usually
Maybe just
plays...
castle, don't touch the pawn.
Yes, castle.
Wait for them to take.
But here, if you take, then we have this position which is already probably psychologically slightly better for black, because
if you don't like playing with an isolated pawn, yes.
And you've traded knights already. But of course, in almost every line in the Queen's Gambit accepted, white is sacrificing this pawn. They are going e4, e5. So you shouldn't take. They're even going e4 very early in the opening, where pieces are not developed yet. So let me show you at least how the game can continue. Let's say you will play bishop b7 or bishop b7, the most natural move. So you'll probably protect the pawn. But can I go e5 immediately? I want to go e5. So knight d7, let's say, and something like rook e1. Say bishop b7, and well, very often you were playing knight g5 here. You cannot. Oh yes, bishop e4. You can even take on d4, but I feel that knight c5 is coming. Yes, so.
And you can take with the rook, hoping to take with the rook on d4. So black has to waste the tempo moving the queen.
Actually, that's why this position is a bit better for white, I feel, because the knight is on d7. But if black puts the knight on d5, then actually those are the position, yes, which I was thinking about. Then you can very often play something like queen a2 and then rook d1, bishop g5. If the bishop goes somewhere else, let's say, yes, you can play bishop or even knight g5 here. So
yeah,
you cannot protect this pawn for a long time.
Yeah, you have just to do something like this, but it's always, oh, I just blundered the bishop, but let's say bishop goes back, queen g4, and you just keep the attack going, and it's not easy for black to castle. All right, Humpy is thinking again for a long time. She's down to 1 hour 8 minutes. I want to go to our marquee matchup and see what Zhongyi has chosen. g4 is on the board. Her style move bishop d7, as we predicted. Black played c6, and now g5. So Tan's next moves are very clear. She's going to go h4, h5. The fact that Bibisara is thinking here, she's considering knight h5. Normally, you don't look at this move when white can simply take. But she hasn't blitzed out knight e8, so she is considering this. Can she play it?
Bishop h5.
And then let's say we castle. This is, of course, a weakness, but, you know, sometimes black sacrifices that while they create counterplay on the queen side.
And Tan included this move g5 not only because it was one of the most natural, but especially after c6, black wants to take on d5, and then you simply take knight d5. No one is
there to trade,
controlling the square anymore. So g5, of course, is necessary. No one is challenging even the knight on d5, but. What if knight e8?
Should go to e8, right? This looks very risky. Okay, but now you're not stopping h5.
But can I take on d5 now? Because I thought that now Bibisara wants to play. No,
f5,
if you take with the knight. Yes.
You know, I've played King's Indian my whole life with white, never taken with the knight ever. I never even considered it.
Yes, but let's maybe show what if knight. I think that Bibisara wants to play knight c7, knight e6.
Yeah.
Oh, knight b6, I'm blundering again.
Blundering or sacrificing?
Yes. So it depends on the outcome, yes? So at the end, I will tell my story differently. Oh, rook b8, and then both knights are actually coming to e6. No. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I never considered taking with the knight, taking with the pawn, and black has to rush and play f5, because if you let me do what I want to do, you'll just end up in a very passive position on the king side. So f5 usually is met by f3.
But I think we're going to see this position on the board.
Very likely.
It's very
and
likely.
Of course, it's not easy for white to castle since c-file is somewhat open, and black can already start pushing a4, h5. I think king stays on e1 for a while in this game. Question is, how do you deal with potential threats on the king side?
Yes, and but do you want to take on g6? I feel that you want to play h6 and the bishop will stay on h8 forever. Maybe this is one of the positional ideas.
You're playing without the bishop, yes, that's an option. A lot of times you don't show your hand and just keep the pawn here for a while. Let's see, she's got knight e8, and we're very likely to see this exact position. Yeah, so for example, if you play rook c8, and I go h6, and you go to h8. Yeah, everything's closed here.
Yes, how do you break through then? Maybe I think Bibisara
I think you just start playing on the queen side.
Yeah, he's quite happy. But you're losing after f4, yes,
yeah.
I think. Yeah, no.
So I have to do something like this.
But then, yeah, can I play b5 here? Then I want to take on e4 with my knight. Oh. Simple, but okay. I can
shut this down too.
Yes, things are changing.
All the play will be on the queen side, yes. Yeah, it's just eventually it will show that black is playing with one less piece. And this is the current position after white played h4. So if Bibisara doesn't want to allow this, what can she do?
The only thing that Bibisara needs to do right now is not to fall asleep on the board, because I just saw her yawning, and it's like maybe the games are starting a bit too early for her, because you know the games usually start at 3 p.m. in all the official events, and sometimes the slightest change in their routine and their rhythm can cause maybe so many draws, because Bibisara told us yesterday that she was not expecting to have so many draws, but her games were not like simple, you know. She was on the verge of losing a few times, then she could have won maybe, I think, one game more, so but you need to be lucky to win the tournament.
Well, we do have a very interesting position, and we'll see how this continues. Almira, do you want to look at the pie charts to see how it has changed pre-tournament, who was favorite, and now after 7 rounds? Of course, we know Tan is the leader, so she has the big piece of the pie, but we're going to see who else has a chance.
Let me see.
Pre-tournament, it was Bibisara who was a favorite at 18%, only 3% more than Zhongyi. Muzychuk was in 3rd, Koneru in 4th, and American Alice Lee, who currently has a chance at the crown, was only at 3.3%.
So how about now, 80%? Let me guess.
81. Wow. Look at that. So it's only 3 players who have a chance. Anna Muzychuk at 0.1. It's still a chance.
Yes, I was actually trying to find out what was the combination of factors that could allow Anna to win the event. So Zhongyi needs to
everyone else has to lose both games, and Anna has to win both. Okay. Alice at 5.7, Assaubayeva at 12.9, but of course if she defeats Zhongyi today with the black pieces, then we're going to have a very different looking pie for tomorrow. And yes, Tan has 81%, but she needs to not lose today's game to keep that chances of winning the tournament.
And may I say that the intrigue is alive in this event?
It is indeed. Today will decide a lot of things, though. And Almira, let's go around the room and check all 5 games, because a lot of developments have happened. I'll start with Humpy Koneru against Divya Deshmukh, the all-Indian matchup. And, you know, they just had this big fight in World Cup last year for the championship title, which Divya won.
Yes, and she won in the rapid portion of this match with the black pieces, by the way. And I had the feeling that Humpy had misplayed the opening, so maybe this is the position that I wanted to draw your attention to. Please have a look, Nazi. You have this wonderful c3 square, and Humpy was thinking for a long time before she played her next move. She played bishop c4, and here I actually thought that Divya was intending to play bishop b2. Yes, queen b2, and let's say something like queen e7.
Get out
because,
of the queen.
yes, if white takes on d5, then bishop d5, and I think that black is already better here.
For sure, this is a great bishop. The pawn on b3 is a target. No risk for black.
Yes, and black still has this square, c3 square, just for the future. She
for a rook, right?
Yeah, for a rook, she can invade it with the rook. However, Divya decided to play rook c8, and this allowed a few trades, but with a different position at the end.
Yeah, she doesn't get to keep the bishop versus knight, and instead now white has to have an active bishop on c4. Maybe she was hoping she's going to win the e4 pawn?
Yes, but at the same time, after knight d2, if you take on e4, then I will take on e6.
Yes, so it's not really beneficial for black at all. So here she played rook c7, f3 was the follow-up, doubled on c8, and I don't think black really has anything left. Now, I like this setup for white. The king can come join the party.
This is one of the strongest setup against the bishop on b7, by the way. So, but I feel that Humpy has survived like a small positional scare in this game. So white is absolutely fine right now. And even if she is down to her 18 minutes, her play is quite easy here. You're absolutely right. You need to bring your king. She can even play at some points a5, yes, just to fix the pawn on a6. So black maybe can try and play a5 on their terms, but then the knight can come to c4.
Yes, then new pawn will become a target. So the worst is definitely over for Humpy. There was a bit of a scare earlier, but now it looks quite balanced. I want to go to another game between Anna Muzychuk and Alexandra Kosteniuk. A lot of trades have happened, and now we're in this queen, rook, and knight endgame. There's barely even any pawns left.
Well, they played a very interesting opening line. However, it was a very forced one, Nazi. Yes. So after all the trades that they have happened on the board here, you can see that Alexandra is trying to trade one of the most active pieces on the board, the knight on f5. So after knight e7,
I was thinking take the pawn, right, on e5, yes. And then trade this. And okay, you have a corner pass pawn. I have a more central pass pawn. But this is definitely equal. Black's rook is not active. I always have rook a1 ideas, and this is just triple zeros, very clearly an equal position. I'm going to go to Vaishali against Alice Lee. A lot has happened in this game. So we left about here where Alice played d5 and everything looked balanced. And then maybe Alice chose not the best plan to put the queen on b4, with the idea to put pressure on e4. However, after g5, you can't take the pawn. There is a simple tactic. She was forced to drop back with the knight and give Vaishali a chance to go for h4, h5, which for some reason Vaishali did not do. She hesitated, played queen g4, and came up with this plan, rook e2 and rook g2. Again, h4, h5 was very interesting.
Yes, and I have the feeling that this is too slow, and Alice was very precise. She seized this opportunity when white played rook e2 and played a very important move f6, because at the end of every variation in this line, black will take on f1 and Vaishali will have to take with the king. And
not ideal.
Yes, Alice still has to be precise here, but she has a very important way to equality. So queen e7 is on the board, and she played very well.
Yes, and then Vaishali chose to continue with her plan of lifting the rook to g2. Alice included this move queen c5, forcing white to defend the pawn on e3 first, give up the control of the f-file completely, and then stepped back with queen e7. And let's catch up with the players. Couple more moves have been made, rook d1 and knight c5. I feel like Alice feels more free maneuvering her pieces and improving the position, but white is a bit stuck.
Exactly, and let's have a look at their tournament position. Vaishali Rameshbabu, the World Championship challenger, hasn't won a single game in this event. Alice, on the other hand, she is waiting for her chance, because Vaishali at some point will overpush it, and we already saw it. You know, this g5, queen g4, rook e2, hesitating, rook g2. So I feel that Alice will have her chance to win this game.
Yes, especially if Vaishali continues to hesitate on her active moves and keep making passive moves. Of course, Alice will have a chance to outplay her. Let's check with Carissa and Tsolakidou before we jump to our marquee matchup. It was a very slow start of this game. As you can see, it looks like Rui Lopez, a lot of maneuvering. I like how Carissa got a lot of space on the queen side, but everything is closed. And here, okay, we looked at rook d1. For some reason, she chose rook e to d1. Why is she keeping this rook on the queen side? Does she hope to open up with c4 later?
Well, I don't know. Those positions are very difficult to understand.
It is. Has anything been traded? No, right? Everything is on the board.
Yes, not a single pawn was traded. I was actually thinking at Carissa's maneuvers, she first played queen c1, bishop d3, queen c2, just to explain a little bit the ideas behind the move. Because here, if the queen would have been on d1, let's say just one move earlier, and black could have played d5, yes, just to explain. And very often you need your queen out on like on c1 square, so you can take on e5, and then white is actually better. Here, and that's why Carissa maneuvered. She played first queen c1, bishop d3, then queen c2. It looks very strange, but that's the way to do it. However, here, maybe she wants to play c4, but I doubt, because if you trade the light square bishops, then the pawn on a6 is not going to be very vulnerable.
Trading white square bishops, could black force it?
Mm-hmm.
Or am I risking too much? Am I losing this pawn, for example? Can you go right after it?
Yes, I think so, but then let's say you cannot, if you take on d5 here, then probably simply take, then take on e5. I wanted to fight for the d4 square.
Definitely not giving this up easily.
Mm-hmm. So knight e5, knight e5, and you will have knight d3 later.
I would love that.
Okay, well, I'm not even in time for knight f5. Okay, knight f5, let's try.
You do have d4 square, which is great for you. Let's say go queen d7, knight d4,
knight d4.
And time to start using our bishop.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very interesting position. The d5 pawn can be considered as a weakness, but I have this great d3 square for my knight.
What
play for both sides.
Yes, what puzzles me here is the position of the white rooks.
Yes, again,
can't find
this rook
the
shouldn't
way
be on
to
A1.
improve them. Yeah.
Should be on F1.
Somewhere, yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting, Nadia. You're right. Maybe bishop c4 is playable, but then you have to support it there with maybe rook e6 and rook g6 even at the earlier stage. So rook d1. But can we see what is the difference? What if we play rook a d1, just in case?
And now we go bishop c4?
Yes. So the rooks are connected in
Yeah.
our line.
It just looks better.
And in this case, yes, maybe we're...
Better aesthetics, right?
Yes, we're even looking at queen e8 at some point, you know, if you are jumping.
True.
So,
all right, and let's go to last but not least, our tournament leader, Zhongyi, against Bibisara Assaubayeva. So we had this position where we expected Bibisara to play f5. She instead chose to not move the f pawn and focus on the queen side. So then we have the trades on h-file, open h-file. Of course, white dreams about checkmating there, but she's going to need to double her pieces. And Bibisara is looking for counterplay on the queen side. So she started trading some pieces with bishop b5.
and it was almost forced, because after rook h4, Bibisara took on a2 for a reason, because white wants to play rook h1, king g3, and queen h2, and black is getting mated. So Bibisara has to find some counterplay.
Maybe here she had to play queen b4, rook b8, and attack the b2 pawn. Instead, she chose a3 with the hopes to break up the queen side with c4. But did she manage to get the c4 move? Let's see. Rook c1, knight e8, and knight d1. Very accurate move by 10. In case of c4, I'll take, and you don't even have queen b2. So here, Bibisara decided it was a good time to play f5 now that rook is cut off and you can't quickly jump to the king side. 10 ignored the f5, did not take, and went bishop d2, asking the queen, what are you doing? Queen went back to b6. I'm still looking at the taking on f6, it's in my head. Takes, and wow, Almira, look at this move, f4. Does she want to go queen h5 and checkmate? Hunt the king? This position has suddenly become extremely sharp. Bishop b3, take the pawn. That's a free pawn, right? Black is not getting it back easily. And this is the current position.
But Bibisara went all in, I have the feeling, because Stan had everything under control. So she was forced to play c4. Of course, rook a4 is attacking the pawn for the moment, but she needs to bring another piece, maybe queen a6 on the next move. However, let's say queen h5.
Let's go.
Yes.
By the way, Bibisara has 13 minutes for next 9 moves in a very sharp position. So can she get out of checkmate?
Okay, queen h7. So we need to protect on f5, Nazi, because queen h7, queen f5 is the threat.
That's also a threat, yes.
We need to do something. Maybe queen d7. And
because if you, let's just show, first you can't take here because the knight's hanging. And if you bring in reinforcements, I think this is just game over. Queen f5 with a check. So queen d7 may be the only move. Or, I'm sorry, why is it going backwards? What if I go queen f7? Provoking g6 that I might regret later.
Yes, because you cannot trade queens here.
Yeah.
There's no way to protect the c4 pawn. Okay, it's a very interesting try, yes, but after g6.
And now you can bring the bishop also in the attack, king somewhere. No, this is very, very dangerous. I don't see exactly how I checkmate, but I know it exists. It's there somewhere.
Well, you need the rook on h3.
Okay, so
Somehow.
I don't like queen f7. Let's take a look at instead
Queen d7 maybe?
queen d7,
Just
yes.
to protect the pawn on f5 and to keep the queens on the board.
Now, how do you continue with white?
Well, don't ask me because I was always seeking for some miracle escape or save with the black pieces, but very often white makes a small mistake, then the evaluation changes a little bit, then another small mistake, and then suddenly Blake is winning. So Tan has to be very careful. Well, she didn't plan to have such a position, by the way. We saw
Well,
that.
you know, when she went g4, she was asking to get such a position.
So here, well, it's not easy
There's a
to
lot of
find the
ideas
move,
here,
yes.
and this is a critical moment. We'll see what Tan decides to do after rook a4. But before we get too close to the end of this round, let's take a look at the road ahead for these two players, Alice and Tan, because we're so close to the championship round. Let's have a look. Tan, today, she's playing Bibisara, but who is she facing in the final round? We're going to see our road ahead.
So
We'll start with Alice. Today she's playing with the black pieces against Vaishali. And tomorrow in the last round, her friend, her rival, Carissa with the white pieces.
what a thrilling finale, and it's a repetition of the last year's Cairns Cup. So Alice was playing with the white pieces against Carissa, but the intrigue of this event was completely different. Carissa needed to make a draw and to win the event.
Yes, and Alice needed a win.
Yeah.
But now it looks like Alice is going to need a win while Carissa's not really fighting for a GM norm anymore. And now let's have a look at road ahead for Tan Zhongyi, our leader. Today she's facing a big match against Bibisara. She has a good position. We'll see if she can convert it. And in the last round, she'll have black pieces against Stavroula Tsolakidou. Stavroula's having a good tournament here, and of course, she's capable of beating anybody.
Well, especially with the white pieces.
Yes. So we'll see how it all ends tomorrow. And Almira, we have 5 very interesting games going on. Let's jump into Carissa's position because things are heating up.
Exactly. Carissa is playing with the white pieces against Stavroula Tsolakidou, and let's have a look at this position where Stavroula decided to play d5.
Perfectly beautiful center. Everything's about to trade. 95, 95.
I had the feeling, Nazi, that if you don't play d5, then black
White's
will
gonna
play.
play, d5.
Okay.
So here f4, Carissa's trying to play aggressively, queen h4. She could have just gone back, with knight on f1, but instead she jumped knight h5. And here a strong move by black was bishop g4. Just close your eyes when you're calculating these positions. Everything is hanging.
Actually, Nazi, this move is very interesting. Stavroula played knight g4, but with the same idea. The thing is that the knight on h5 has no squares. So if you take on g4, I think that black is even better, because you will lose the knight on h5 eventually, and you cannot take on d5 because your bishop on e3 is also hanging. So this position, I think, is a bit better for black.
Wow, and let's see how Carissa's handling knight g4. She played bishop d4. She realized taking here is a mistake. And not queen h5, d takes e4.
Yes, d takes e4. By the way, Nazi, I thought that here white has a very narrow path, but she can take a piece. You can play f5. It's very strange, but
f5, okay.
I know why, because the knight can jump to f4. You have to take bishop
finally,
f5,
okay.
yes, and then I will take on g4. So after bishop g4, I can play knight f4 and save my knight.
I see. Wow.
So Carissa has this very strong move. However,
Okay.
it's the only line which allows her to to win a piece.
Are you ready for this?
What? I didn't see something.
No, I think, if Albor says white is fine, but black already has 3 pawns for the knight.
Mm-hmm.
And I still continue pressing and attacking your knight on f4, pawn on g2. Not an easy position to play.
And you can play bishop
And
d6.
give me a move or two. I'm going to be playing for a checkmate.
Mm-hmm. I still have bishop g7, however, when you will play bishop d6. So
True.
Can I protect my knight? Knight h3. Okay. I wanted to play queen d2 first,
Wait,
but knight
and
h3.
you're okay here?
Well,
I guess your queen comes in to help very quickly. I'm not even threatening much besides rook e2.
Yes, but if I play bishop f1, then you will simply take on d1 and in the previous position. Yes, so bishop f3 is the only move.
Yeah, this is forced, but now you only have to defend from rook e2. Maybe you go queen f2 and threaten queen f3. Okay, well, crazy position though, so much to calculate. f5, will Carissa find this move?
But maybe she will find it out of necessity, because once again you cannot take on g4 because the knight on h5 has no squares, and that's why Stavroula actually took on e4, because she thought that Carissa has to play on g4 to take on g4.
All right, and Almira, we have two marquee matchups today. One is between Tan and Assaubayeva, other between Vaishali and Lee. Which one should we jump to?
Oh, definitely to the game between Zhongyi and Bibisara Assaubayeva, because Bibisara is down to her 5 minutes. Zhongyi still has 25 minutes, and look at the position. The king is on g6.
Wow, I'm going to back up just a little bit to see how this happened. So we left around here. Bishop d2, queen d7. So she didn't rush with queen h5. She instead brought the knight into the game. I like it. Bishop b5, rook h1, and now g6. Wow, completely opening up the black's king side. What is exactly the threat? Or there's too many threats.
There are too many threats. Maybe you can
Black's
say
rooks are kind of out of play.
yes, but okay, rook h6 is the first move that comes to my mind, and this is it. Yes, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And then queen h5 because
Queen
yes,
h5.
because the knight is going to be pinned.
So let me make some random move. Let's say I'm pinning you. How do you win? Check?
I want to play queen
Another
h5.
check.
Yes, and then where do you
And then
go?
rook h8 and okay, this is another check and over. We do have a move. Rook g8 was played. They're 2 moves away from the time control, but time is not the main problem for Sarah. It's the position. Do we just make a simple improving move? Bring the queen out, so you have ideas of knight f5, queen g2.
I was thinking about the move knight g2 there. What do you think, Nazi? Knight g2, I wanted to bring the knight to f4. So maybe
Honestly, everything looks good.
yes, maybe this is not spoiling. Knight h4 also. If you play king f7, maybe I still have queen h5.
Could I take here, or am I getting mated?
No, it's protect. No, I mean after. Now you need to make a move. So king f7.
I don't
queen
want to
H-
play this for black. Can I have you from the white side, please?
Yes, let me savor something for one. But for one.
Yes,
moment,
there's
yes.
so many good moves here, and Tan has also plenty of time on her clock. I like queen d3.
But Tan has just. Oh no, she.
I think she wrote down rook g8, and we'll see what she chooses to do, but it's probably 6-7 different winning moves here. The most natural to me is queen f3.
And if we start with rook 1 h6 like in our previous analysis, why can't I play this? So
Yeah, we
check.
can play queen h5, king
And then
f8.
king f8, and then queen g6. Well, I don't know. Oh, queen
Okay.
f7. Maybe
Problem
you
is
will
we're
trade
not
queens.
threatening anything, so if black trades queens, they will survive, most likely. Still not clear, but most likely, because technically you are winning a pawn, but we want more than just a pawn. So after queen f7, I would keep the queens on the board.
Okay, maybe then queen g5 was more precise there, but okay, rook h6 is not winning by force. Okay, let's find something
Yeah,
else.
that's the funny thing, that it's completely winning. You can see Valbor saying like +6, but doesn't end in a checkmate. You still have to make threats and improve your position in order to win this game.
Yes, it's very strange, but you have to be patient here, Nazi, yes?
Patience.
Like you can't win by force, so you need to improve. By the way, the queen is the only piece which is not participating in the attack, yes? So like I understand that you want to improve at queen d3 or queen e3. Yes, I wanted to bring this knight, but maybe the knight is protecting on c4 and attacking on f5 at the same time.
Right. I also want to go quickly to Vaishali's game against Alice, because Alice is, wow, much better now in this endgame. We had this very interesting position. I'm going to back up to show you what happened after knight. Well, first, right here.
Yeah, I think Alice missed a very interesting
Knight h4.
move, yes.
Such a beautiful move. Idea is I'm just going to play knight e6 next and take on g5 with the knight. in a great position. Instead, she chose knight f4, which is also tempting. But problem is that here, if Vaishali found rook d8,
Wow.
it's an equal endgame. You can't take with the rook, the queen is hanging. You can't take with the queen, mate is hanging. You have this in between check, gives you nothing.
I was wondering if we have paramedics on the premises, because, you know, I think that if Vaishali would have played this move, rook d8, like, her
Someone would have a
opponent-
heart attack,
yes,
right?
exactly.
This would have been an
fallen
easy
off the
bailout
chair.
for Vaishali, but she didn't find rook d8. h6 was also interesting. Instead, she played king g1, and now Alice is just much better. She has an extra pawn and a good position. And she's going to... Wow, I think this is completely over. How do you survive this?
And should I say it, that it's another rook endgame? And Alice has been a keeper of the rook citadel. Yesterday she failed to convert another extra pawn, but generally she was playing very well.
Absolutely, and if she wins today, she only needs a draw tomorrow with white pieces to score her Grandmaster norm.
Or maybe a win to win the event. Because Tan,
To
of
have a
course,
chance, yes.
Tan will be leading by a full point if she wins. Once again, things are not over yet there, but she played queen f3.
Yes, and here, let's wait. Vaishali has 18 seconds. They're still 4 moves away from the time control. After they reach move 40, we can switch back to 10. 10, 9. She looks like she's not even looking at the clock. Does she know?
Wants to bring the rook to... Oh, I thought that she wanted to play rook e2. Yes, and king d3, king c3, and to win the pawn on e5.
I don't think she's trying for that. Maybe... What does she want to do? Rook d6, h6, and rook h2 to have... to open up the king a little bit? Maybe that's her idea.
No, but... Yeah, I thought maybe...
But this rook is coming back.
Yeah, exactly, so...
Rook b1. If you move here, I go rook h1. Maybe I'll include the check. Maybe I don't need it, and you don't get to play h6 in time.
Yes, so if this pawn falls, this endgame is just completely winning. The rook is on b1.
Of course, Alice is playing rook b1 very quickly, and rook is coming to h1. I mean, you can play rook h2 for now, and then still hope to do this, but it's just so slow. Black can do so many different things. They can just go rook f1, rook f6. 2 extra pawns.
Alice shows such maturity in her games, and she's such a different player, by the way, compared to the last Cairns Cup. So it wouldn't surprise me if in 2 years Alice will play her first candidates tournament.
Yeah.
She still has to work, of course, on her game, and there's so much to learn, but she's playing against the World Championship challenger, and she's winning with the black pieces.
That's definitely a good sign that she needs to qualify for the candidates, because she has very good chances. And Vaishali decided to throw away another pawn to have some practical chances. She sacrificed pawn on h6. She's now down 3 healthy pawns and is hoping for a miracle.
Yes, but Alice will play rook h1 here. She will protect, of course, the pawn on h6, because white is threatening rook h2.
Give a check first, then she's going to go to h1. And then she also just has a passer that's going to start moving.
Yeah, maybe it was important to include rook e1, so you drive the king a bit away. Yes, then you play e4, e3. But
yeah, this is kind of a disastrous tournament for Vaishali, especially if she loses another game today.
by the way, Zhongyi simply decided to take the pawn on f5.
One more move here to reach move 40, and then we'll jump to our marquee matchup. 15 seconds. All right, she's played king d2. We're going to see rook h1, and it's just a technical conversion from here. No counterplay, no ideas for white. All black needs to do is not blunder. All right, let's jump back to Tan's game. The king has been walking for a while. It's now on e8.
Yes, because Tan played queen f3, and after king f7, she simply took on f5. You know, you see, she was patient. She didn't need all those checks. She took on f5 here because queen f5 is met by queen f5. The knight is pinned, of course.
I think she has a forcing win now, right? Knight takes g7. If you go rook g7, I'm checkmating you with queen f8. And if you take with the bishop, rook e1, another check. And rook e7. That's it.
Yes, game over. Tan is just checking her moves.
This will be first loss for Bibisara. She's having such a solid tournament and then went on +2. And yesterday when I talked to her during the interview, I said, you're one of the few players who's undefeated. Was that your goal in this event? And she's like, no, I don't care about losing. I just play every game and do my best. Because there are some players who hate losing and their main goal is to go undefeated.
Well, Bibisara is never shy of playing for a win with the black pieces, and today she was in a must-win situation. So, of course, she accepted to be in a slightly worse position, but she was constantly looking for dynamic possibilities. However, I just feel that Tan Zhongyi was just a stronger player today.
Definitely, Tan outplayed Bibisara out of the opening, really. Maybe this type of King's Indian with g4 is just her style. But you told me, so 2 times they played before. It was King's Indian, right, also?
Yeah. And then Tan switched to e4. However, Bibisara always played the Sicilian defense, and in this tournament, Bibisara started to play the e6 Sicilian, so maybe Tan decided, okay, I am leading by a full point, let's accept the challenge. And let's see what you have in store. This paid off. And,
she
played very
clearly
well.
Improved her King's Indian and came very well prepared today. There's also rook h8, I think, that ends the game. Also forcing. Your rook is hanging. If you take, it's going to be mate in a couple of moves.
Oh, knight g6.
And rook h6. And if you don't take, and let's say defend with queen on f7, how do I win? There's so many options.
So, well, maybe
where is the mate?
Can't you play rook h7?
I want to take and jump back on this side very
okay.
quickly and punish you for having the king on e8.
Then rook a8, and then maybe you
rook b7, right?
The seventh
This
rank.
position is just awful for black. Like, how did black get this position? Is it chess 960?
But at the same time, maybe knight g7 is the cleanest way to win.
Because it's all forcing moves.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. It comes with the tempo. So Tan still has 17 minutes.
Yeah, I think Tan will take her time. I'm sure she sees all the ways she's winning. I do see that Carissa Yip is now also winning. Let's jump to that game against Stavroula. We left it around here. Knight f4 happened, and here e3 was a big mistake, and now Carissa keeps the extra piece with not enough compensation. Oh, she has rook f6 right now.
Exactly.
It's hanging.
Kudos to Carissa because she found this move f5. She found the way to save her piece. And the knight is still on h5, by the way. Only now it's such a wonderful piece. Before it was very vulnerable. Now it's participating in the attack, and of course rook f6 is probably winning immediately. So bishop f6 check. But if you don't take...
this is winning. Also another game that's about to finish is Vaishali against Alice. Let's jump back to it because Alice is playing quickly even though she has a lot of time on her clock. She's just pushing the e-pawn. She can pick up c2. She can push... Can she push e2? No, maybe I found one move that's not good.
Well, king g6?
It doesn't matter.
Yes,
sorry,
okay.
check. Oh, so you have to go g6,
Yes.
right? Check.
Then
I have perpetual here.
here you have perpetual. No, but rook g7. Can I play rook g7 there?
Yeah, but then your rook is kind of awkwardly placed, so maybe I have some play here.
Okay.
So you don't want this.
Yes, you want to keep the pawn on e3, and you can take on c2 in
Exactly,
this
so
line.
get the same position with 4 extra pawns. What has she played? Rook c2. Yeah, she's not letting another rook endgame escape her. By the way, when I say another, it was just one, because she won 2 drawn rook endgames. And we have a resignation. Congratulations, Alice, for taking down World Championship challenger Vaishali with the black pieces. And we're going to have her come down here and interview her in a bit. Should we jump back to... I think Tan's still thinking she hasn't made a move.
Alice, just I can see she wants to smile. She wants to celebrate her victory, but of course she doesn't want to do it in the playing hall. So we will ask her all the questions here.
Now she is only half point away from the GM title.
And Tan just glanced, I think, at the result of this game, so she knows that Alice is narrowing the gap.
Yes, that's why Tan needs to win to keep the full point ahead, the lead, because if she draws, there will only be a half-point gap, and then playoffs are quite likely.
So things are not over, Nazi.
Yeah, Alice is keeping up with Tan and keeping the tension in the tournament.
Normally, like under the normal circumstances, 6 out of 9 was always sufficient to win this event. Only in the first edition, Valentina Gunina scored 7 out of 9. But here we are not even sure like how many points is sufficient to secure the win.
Yeah, Tan is on a roll. She's going +4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, only 3 players in this event were on a plus score. Before this round started, we only had Zhongyi with a 2700 performance. Then we had Alice Lee and Bibisara. So let's see. We have, by the way, another draw between Anna Muzychuk and Alexandra Kosteniuk. So Anna didn't win. Bibisara is going to 50%. Tan
if she loses this, yeah.
Yes, so Tan would be on +4, and only Alice Lee would have a plus score, so we are waiting for Carissa's game to see if she will manage to be on +1.
Very tough event. As you can see, if only 2 and 3 players can get the plus score. I mean, seeing World Championship challenger at -2 is shocking. Then former World Champion Kosteniuk is at -3. It's just a very tough... -4, actually. Yes, you're right. Yes. And yeah, Vaishali is at -3, and she has a match coming up against Ju in June.
It feels a bit like a Gukish trajectory, yes. Since his big win, he didn't have... he wanted to confirm, of course, but he wasn't dominant like Magnus Carlsen, yes, on the circuit. And I feel that the same happened to Vaishali Rameshbabu. She gave it all, of course. She won the candidates, but then things are not going their
way. I think their players are just feeling the pressure after winning the candidates. I'm also surprised that Tan is still thinking in this position. She has so many winning moves. But she's such an experienced player. I think she's just using all her time to make sure she's not giving Bibisara any chances to escape in this game. 3 games still in progress, but I'm going to stop my analysis and jump to our interview with a very special guest, Alice Lee.
Hi.
Hi, Alice. So, such a huge win today. Congratulations, first of all. I have to ask you about yesterday's game. I know it didn't end the way you wanted to. How did you manage to recover so quickly?
I'm not sure. Like, of course, yesterday was quite disappointing because I felt like I was pressing for a long time, and then at the very end, I just blundered this rook a4 takes, and then if I do king f4, then f6. But yeah, I guess like today I just wanted to be solid, and I knew that Vaishali will probably try to get a game because she's white and she's high rated. So I was expecting a fight, and yeah, I guess that's what happened.
Well, great attitude, and you managed to forget about yesterday's game and jump into today's round. So, were you expecting this bishop e3 Gioco piano?
No, not really.
But you're familiar with it?
Not particularly.
Okay. Well, you handled it very well. And I just have a question. I'm going to jump right here. When you went queen b4, did you by any chance miss a tactic or?
Yeah, I missed g5, knight takes c4, queen g4.
Yes, from afar it's easy to miss that suddenly you're pinned. So now when you had to play knight d7, did you think maybe you were in trouble?
Yeah, I saw like here her position is much more pleasant, and I definitely have to defend.
Okay, but did you get to talk to Vaishali after the game by any chance and ask why she didn't push h4, h5?
No, I didn't. But yeah, I guess I'm not sure why she didn't.
You were expecting it, right?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, she hesitated and waited for a while, and then by the time she played h4, it wasn't so good anymore. And there was another critical moment here. You have such beautiful moves here. Did you consider knight h4?
Yeah, I think that was the first move I considered. And then I saw like knight e6, knight f3, because if she allows, or sorry, queen takes h4, knight e6, and then like knight f3, rook takes f3, it's obviously quite pleasant. But I also thought what I got in the game was pretty good.
Yeah. There was just one tactic she had that would equalize the game. And I'm talking about the move rook d8 here.
Oh yeah, I saw that after she played king g1, that like say if I play rook h4 or something, then she can play rook d8. So that's why I traded queens to avoid it.
Yeah, this was her only chance really to equalize the game, because after king g1, so you saw it here that if you go rook h4, it transposes. Yeah. But you played it correctly here, and from here on, you just managed to take all her pawns, and no chances. Well, now you know that you are only half point away from the Grandmaster norm.
Yeah.
Is that right? How do you feel going into the last round?
Yeah, I mean, I'm playing Carissa, and I think she always tries to get a game, so I don't think that it would be like an easy half point by any means, but definitely I'm in a better position than I was yesterday after I drew, so I'm quite happy, and I think tomorrow I'll just play and try to do my best.
Sounds like a great strategy. And Alice, is it going to be, if you win or if you make a draw, is this going to be your first GM norm?
Yes.
All right, well, first of 3, hopefully you'll get them all soon.
Hopefully I'll get this one, but...
Yes, well, best of luck, you're doing great, and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
In Almira, we have such an exciting game going on here. Carissa is very close to converting her advantage. She has a full extra piece for 2 pawns, but now those pawns are not enough compensation.
Well, she just reached time control. She took on d4. That was her 40th move. And 13 seconds for Stavroula
to make her last 40th move. But her position is absolutely busted here. Rook g8 was her choice. Yes, I think Carissa has many moves here, and she might take some time because they just reached time control. I want to go back to Zhongyi against Bibisara and see what Tin chose in her game, how to finish it. So she took on g7 with a check, and then instead of giving another check, she started with bishop g5. Okay, threatening this move, allowing rook... Oh, sorry, rook f8's not on the board.
Yes,
it's my analysis.
Yes, if you will play rook f8, white will simply play rook e1 check and game over.
You're up a full rook at the end of this line. Yeah, after bishop g5, Sara can give a spy check.
Yeah, Nazi, you just missed a very important moment. I think that for the first time I saw Tan looking at Bibisara, because Bibisara is trying to find a move just to stay alive in this game, and Tan just...
Tan's looking at her
like... she's looking at her even like...
When are you going to resign,
exactly.
Right? So let's give the spy check and see if we can do anything with it. King g2.
And then...
This rook that's completely out of play. If it could participate, maybe she would have some counterplay, but without this rook, let's say rook takes c4.
But here with the... Like this now, at least bishop b5, you know...
It's not a move.
Yeah, I cannot make this. No, but with the queen not... no. Without the queen here. I need to find a way to play bishop b5, and can I make a move like...
You don't have any moves for the queen that's not on the 7th rank.
Yes, that's the...
it's very sad. So you can start with the check and then go somewhere. let's say queen d4, but you are getting checkmated, right? I can just give this check and this check, and okay.
No, but I was even thinking
the checks.
nothing stops rook e1. And
Well, you had bishop e5, right? So I was trying to not let you even do that.
Ah, okay. So
yeah, and I'm
rook E1,
picking up
bishop
everything
E5,
with checks.
and maybe then queen h5 mate.
Yeah, that
Yes.
also works, I'm sure. So yeah, this is definitely game over. It's just that they reached time control and got 30 extra minutes on the board, so might take some time before Sarah resigns. But
Bibisara fought violently in this game, but I feel that in this event, she simply played better in every game. And even yesterday, yes, Divya was a few pounds up, but Tang has found wonderful dynamic choices to complicate the game, and she prevailed at the end. So it's not like Divya blundered. She found very strong moves to keep the game going.
yeah, honestly, Tan is in great form. Obviously, her results speak for themselves, but when Tan is in her best form, after all, she's world number 3 or 4 by rating.
And also, she is the former world champion, of course, but she played another 2 times for the world crown. How many people did get this chance?
I think only Ju and June.
Yes, only Ju in June, because she was defending her
Yes.
crown. And Hu Yifan.
Yeah,
Yes,
but that was a
Hu
long time
Yifan,
ago.
of course, yes. She won the world championship several times.
But all the names we're just listing, all Chinese players.
Yes, and the women's Chinese players have been dominating the scene for so many years. I was thinking about Shi Jun, who won the first title, and since then we had a plethora of Chinese champions. Hu Yifan, of course, was the youngest of them, but you had Hu Yuhua, you had Zhu Chen, Zhu Wenjun, Tan Zhongyi.
Li Tingzhe.
Li Tingzhe, she didn't win the world championship yet.
She challenged twice.
Yes, exactly.
Though.
Yeah, so all those wonderful players are still on the top. And by the way, there are Chinese players, if you look at the rating list, and then there is Bibisara.
In the middle, yeah. Well, Queen A7 spy check was given. I don't think it matters which way the king goes, but I would shy away from the center and maybe go to G2.
So king G2.
Because I don't think black can pin us when this bishop is not moving because of the counter pin. And yeah, next either rook e1 or queen h5 is coming.
But here I still thought, why can't we play queen f7? Even before I was thinking, why can't we play queen f7 and then king f8?
Q1, and I think I'm one move away from bishop e7 is still winning, right? But I'm going to interrupt us and go to Humpy and Divya's game, because I think that game is about to end in a draw. They found a repetition. I think this game was very balanced most of the time. Most of the game, maybe small advantage for black at some point, but here it's very close position, same color bishops, but there's no breakthroughs and they're shaking hands.
Actually, Nazia, I thought that Humpy had a small advantage at some point, but both players, well, Humpy was struggling since the very beginning of this event, and Divya lost a very important game yesterday, but I think that when Humpy had the rook on d6, she was playing for an advantage, but who knows?
And let's jump back to Tan Zhongyi against Bibisara. She did make the king g2 move, and we'll see if Sarah finds a way to prolong this game, but I think it's really coming to an end in just a few moves. All kinds of mates coming. Tan probably looked over and saw that Alice won and was a bit disappointed, because if Alice didn't win and Tan won, she would have first place pretty much guaranteed. Now she still has to play a game tomorrow.
Yes, and we've seen that Tan is playing against Stavroula.
Yes.
Stavroula. And if Stavroula loses today, she will be somewhat demoralized. I imagine it's not easy to lose 2 games in a row.
Oh, you're right. That will be 2 in a row.
Exactly. So even though she's having the white pieces tomorrow, but playing the tournament leader, she will be more on the safe side of this game.
Yes, and we can expect maybe a quick draw in that game. But you heard Alice. She only needs a draw for the GM norm, but she's playing Carissa, who's always playing for a game, and they're going to have some crazy game, I'm pretty sure. We'll see what happens there. But you can see Bibisara, I think she's ready to resign. She's accepted that her position has no hope of survival.
By the way, Nazi, can I show you one line? Because I'm still trying to find a way for black to keep the game alive. But yes, I want to try my move queen f7. There's no other way that I can escape. And here, what if I play king e8? Let's say you take on d6, and bishop b5 comes with check. The game continues, so I have no idea what's going on. So king f2 is probably the only
basically
move here.
the
Then
rook.
yes, that I'm taking on h7. And
Anything can happen here. Definitely can't allow any of this. Wow.
So what do you do after bishop b7?
I was going to go to f6.
Ah, f6, yes. But then king f8.
Okay, let me take.
Yes, I'm taking. Check, yeah.
And I'm winning the queen, right?
Ah, yes, you're winning the queen. But you see, but even for the moment, the material balance, you just have one extra pawn here. Of course, your pieces are dominating the board, but even after bishop b7, I still have one more move, king e8. And bishop f6 is a very precise move there.
Wow. Yeah, it's crazy how in a completely lost position he can still find chances. That's chess.
Yes, chess, of course, a lot of defensive resources, a lot of surprising defensive resources, and that's why you still have to look for one more move. Yes, it's cheap on a chair, but Bibisara knows that here, well, first of all, she needs to parry the check on e1. This is coming. And I was looking at the position between Carissa and Stavroula.
I think Carissa is still thinking after move 40 there. Yes. No moves have been made there.
Stavroula has made rook g8, and then Carissa is trying to find the cleanest way to win the game, because she needs maybe to win the pawn on a3. By the way, maybe let's show this position for a second while Bibisara is still thinking.
All right, let's jump over to Carissa's game.
You see, this pawn on e3 is very dangerous, and well, you can't take it because the knight on h5 is hanging. So I thought that Carissa can play rook e7 and take on e3 with her rook. But then rook e8 is coming. Rook b8.
Well, I should be happy to trade pieces, right?
Oh, okay. Rook f7, yes.
Or rook e5 also looks interesting.
No, I thought rook f7, but okay, rook e7, and...
this doesn't even create a real threat, I don't think, because you just take on e3.
And if I play, instead of rook e8, can I play rook d8? Let me try this move. And I wanted to take on d4.
As soon as I bring my knight back, it's over.
Yeah.
It's coming to g6.
So maybe
or e6, or... Yeah.
But maybe you can start with knight f4 then.
In the current live position?
Yes, let's
Well, you're
start.
giving this with a check.
Oh, yes, I'm forgetting about queen g3. Oh, yes, because now like, the rook was on e3, of
Yeah.
course, yes. The position has changed completely, so... and queen g2, queen h5, I'm blundering, yes, the knight. So
Yeah, the important thing is to not blunder this extra knight. Rook e7 is a very nice move. Take on e3, and then your knight is free to come back. It's the cleanest win.
But the problem is that in my head I started with rook f3 first. I was blundering the knight, so I said, okay, this rook doesn't go there. But there was another try. I wanted to try rook f4 in this position. No,
this
not this
idea?
one. No, the other one. Rook f4, with the idea of playing maybe rook h4 at some point. So it is also...
this looks great as well. The only concern is you're leaving the first rank open, but if only the b file was open.
Maybe rook, yes, but rook f4 protects on
rook
d4.
e8.
Yes, rook e8 and rook h4. So where do you go? And Carissa
do have a
just
move.
made a move.
Queen f3 also looks great. I think she is planning maybe rook g7. So let's make some stupid move for black. Can you win this way? Or it's not winning?
No, it's you
There's
don't
no
have a
mate.
mate here. Yeah.
No mate, but okay, she wants to take knight g7 though, right? This also doesn't work.
Oh, but it's the same.
But g3 is always
yeah.
hanging.
Mhm.
G3 is always hanging.
But why not your move knight f4 here?
Yeah.
Nazi?
Okay. That's the easiest. So with queen f3, she's actually threatening knight f4.
It's protecting on g3.
And if e2, she's not even going to touch this pawn. She's going to move the rook because knight f4 is a deadly threat.
And why can't I take queen e2?
It's because you want to play knight f4. Because queen was just on e2.
Yes, of course. No, but now you're giving me the pawn, so I will take it. Queen
But this
e2.
is faster.
Yes. But
Let's go back to Tan and Bibisara. They are making moves.
you see the differences. At the very beginning, I wanted to take the pawn on a3, and you wanted to mate. You
Yeah.
know, so like I still
Both,
want to take the pawn on a3.
They are following the line with queen f7, rook e1, and king f8. So now, as many winning moves. Bishop e7 is what I showed, but maybe there is more simple, straightforward win here. Can I go queen b3 now? Because, yeah, I want rook f1, queen a4, and queen b8, triple threat. I think
Yes,
that's it.
Queen b3, yeah. And
It's probably the easiest practical way to win.
there is no way for me to... Yes, and if I play queen f5 here, rook f1 is coming anyway.
So queen b8 check, rook
Yeah.
e7, so much is coming. I think Bibisara is ready to resign after Tan's next move. Let's see what Tan chooses. I would go queen b3 now. Guaranteed extra material. Don't have to calculate much.
Yes,
I will
because
see
you
what she
don't-
chooses.
You don't even have queen a7, rook f1.
Queen e7?
No, queen a7. I wanted to protect from this check, and if you play rook f1, then king e8. I have one more move.
Queen b5?
Yes,
That's it.
that's it. Queen d7.
Queen
queen
b8,
d8. Okay.
checkmate, yeah. And, no, she's going queen g4.
But with the same idea,
Same
actually.
idea, yeah.
She wants to play, of course, queen c8 and rook f1.
And bishop e7.
Yeah. Even though she doesn't attack the rook on a4.
And Bibisara can't block anything. Her rook, her queen is hanging. Oh, wait a minute. There's queen takes d5. Tan blundered this. Of course, it's still winning, but she missed this move. Because you can't take. Rook g4.
Yes, and now black is winning. Wait. Queen d5 is on the board.
Rook e4 is the only move, by the way. But look at Tan. She knows she blundered this. She's taking a moment to recover. Lucky for her, because her position is so winning, that she's still completely winning after rook e4. But if she does anything else, let's say move the king,
Yes,
you are
now-
losing.
Yeah, and bishop d4.
Can you imagine?
I can. The thing is, I think that time, like, there's so many thoughts, of course, in her head, but one of those is,
But
I
let's take a
can't
look.
believe that I've done it again. You know, I've blundered something.
Okay, so
Wow.
how are you winning here?
I don't, but I'm an exchange up here. Yes, rook g4. Ah, but then you will take on c4.
You don't have enough pawns.
No, rook h5.
No, this is... I can hold this.
Yes, and
King e7. Sorry.
Yeah.
No. Here we need to find tactics. Maybe rook e5
Oh, rook e5, yes.
and rook
then
h8. There we
rook
go.
This is too much.
Oh, what a blunder. I mean,
By the way, okay,
such a shock, right?
let's calm down and play rook e4.
I'm calm. Tan needs to
Yes.
calm down after queen d5, not panic and realize she's still completely winning after rook e4.
By the way, after rook e4, if I simply... no, it's like I wanted to play queen c6 because you no longer
No,
have...
mate into.
Oh, yes, but queen f5, yes.
Yeah.
because I thought that rook f1 was the main threat, but now we have queen f5 because the queen left f7 as the position has changed. But can I take rook c4 there, Nazi? Rook e4, rook c4.
Sorry, I'm waiting for the move. And rook e4. Okay, she found the only correct move.
So rook c4?
Mate.
Okay, but queen f4 now. Yes, of course. Yeah. Its mate is unavoidable.
I like how Tan's thinking here. Oh, because she has rook e8, queen takes g5 is not the only move.
Rook e8, king takes e8. Maybe is a simpler way, yes, to convert her advantage, because after queen g5, bishop b5, you still have to find all those tactical motives.
And I think she's calculated it because she's taken on g5. Now bishop b5, they're following our analysis. And moment of truth. Will she play rook e5 or rook h8?
By the way, yes, now
You
that
can start with this,
yes,
right?
you've said this, I thought that you can start with this and then you can play rook e8 here. Yes, so you're winning immediately.
Actually, I think you can win this way.
Oh, even this way. Yes, I thought.
But if you go rook h8, you still have to take on e5, right?
Yeah.
Or you can start with the check and then take on e5.
No, I thought that you're winning rook with queen
Yes.
d8 and queen d7.
Depends
yes.
which rook you want to win. Both seem to be winning.
So the rook on a4 is finally lost. Bibisara is looking away. She knows what's coming.
Yeah, I mean, that one moment with queen takes d5.
And rook h8 is on the board. It
Beautiful.
shows that Tang is in great shape.
Even though she blundered the
Yeah.
one pawn on d5, that was such a scare.
Maybe it was a bluff. You know, she didn't blunder.
I saw her reaction.
She wanted Bibisara to play queen d5 and then to play rook e4, cementing the position.
And we have a
yes,
resignation.
yes.
Congratulations to Zhongyi winning a very important game going into the last round. She's a full point ahead of Alice Lee, and tomorrow only needs a draw to secure first place without playoffs.
However, she's having the black pieces tomorrow, so for me, the intrigue of this tournament is still alive.
Well, only one game remaining.
Yes, but it's, of course, a very important game for Carissa because she wants to end up the tournament with flying colors and especially going to the last round against Alice.
Absolutely, and let's show her position to discuss what's going on. She has an extra piece, but there's still some things to calculate to not give black any counterplay, any chances of survival. So there's a weakness on g3, but it's very well protected. Weakness on d4, also protected. And I think she's just a couple moves away from improving her pieces. Like this knight on h5 is not the best. Bring it to f4, try to get it to g6, and that will be game over.
I think it's very important first to take on e2. Now, this pawn is bothering me since I've seen it for the first time. So like I'm always thinking about the ways, like, let's say if black protects it, queen e6. So maybe you can play rook f2 and take it finally.
So let's say I go rook e8.
Yes.
You don't want knight f4?
Now knight f4, yes.
I think I have to try to take d4 for e2,
Okay,
but it's
so
not
rook-
enough.
Yes, rook e2. Yes, I have to take this pawn, and now maybe you can finally play knight g6 and
Yeah, this is a winning
maybe
endgame for sure.
knight e7 and knight c6. I thought yes, king h7, knight e7, and knight takes c6.
Sorry, you're going to
knight
e7.
e7. Yes. I wanted.
But I can
maybe.
pin you.
Oh, you can pin me. Oh, but I can take on c6, by the way.
You can,
Yeah.
because on the check you have
Yeah.
king f2.
So rook e2, knight d4, and everything is protected.
Stavroula is back at her board. They recently reached move 40 and gained a lot of time, so I think these players will keep the game going on for a while. But of course, we know the evaluation. And here we are with today's winner, Carissa. Carissa, congratulations and welcome back to the studio.
Thank you.
So how does it feel to defeat Stavroula with the white pieces? What was your mindset going into the game today?
I mean, a win always feels good. It's kind of tough because Stavi's a pretty good friend of mine, so I feel like it's always tough playing against friends. But yeah, I kind of had a bit of a disappointing event so far, so I kind of just want to
Finish well?
yeah, finish well. I mean, I felt that I was playing well, but not really converting my positions. So I kind of just wanted to keep my cool when I, did get a good position.
Yeah, definitely. It feels like on every board, really, there are some points left behind. But let's check your game. Critical moment, I think, was in this moment when she sacrificed the piece knight g4. Did you calculate just taking and realized it's not good?
Yeah, actually, this knight g4 I thought was super clever. I kind of overlooked it completely because my knight on h5 is trapped. And I was actually bemoaning the fact that, earlier I played rook e-d1, and I was also playing rook a-d1, but this trick wouldn't work with rook a-d1, because then I'd be able to take twice and play queen e2.
Right.
So I was a little bit annoyed, but there are still chances to play, and she was getting low on time.
So I'm just going to show that taking doesn't work because at the end your knight is just trapped and you can't even take on d5 because e3 is hanging. So you came up with a solution to play bishop d4 and then this brilliant move f5. Did you see this from afar?
Yeah, I mean, I did see it from afar, but again, I spent some time on bishop d4 because I just needed to, make sure I wasn't missing anything. But yeah, after this kind of intermezzo, I get my knight back in the game and she gets 3 pawns, but my minor pieces are quite strong.
Yeah, I think e3 was a critical mistake, but it is difficult to play for black. She was supposed to take and then just play this position.
Yeah, I think like king g8, threatening bishop d6, right? She can't play bishop d6 right away because I always have these bishop takes g7 tricks.
Right.
But yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah, she would have some compensation, but it still looks like white should be better. And then the way she continued after e3, I think you just didn't give her another chance, right? And of course, rook f6, nice tactic.
Thanks.
At what point were you sure that, okay, this game is over?
Again, I was like just never sure, even till the very end. I was expecting her to play on instead of resigning, but I was learning my lesson kind of not relaxing too early. So I was a little taken aback by the end of the game here, but also kind of thankful that I wouldn't have to show a possibly shoddy technique.
All right, and going into tomorrow, you just mentioned you don't like to play your friends, but you are facing Alice Lee, just like you did last year at Cairns Cup, right?
I know, I thought it was kind of cute that we're playing each other again in the last round. This year the colors are reversed, though, I think.
Okay, colors are reversed, and she needs, I believe, half a point for Grandmaster norm, but of course she's also fighting for the first place. She wants to catch up with Tang. What's your mindset going into the last round?
Yeah, I mean, Alice is a good friend and, of course, very strong. So, again, I just want to play well and kind of see what happens.
Well, we are all excited for a great finale. So, best of luck to both of you, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
And let's take a look at the standings after 8 rounds to see who is on the top. Well, first we'll start with the results. Zhongyi won a great game against Bibisara Assaubayeva. Then 2 Americans had a great day as well. Alice Lee won against Vaishali. Carissa defeated Stavroula Tsolakidou. And there were 2 draws. Humpy Koneru drew Divya and Muzychuk drew Alexandra Kosteniuk. Now let's take a look at the standings. To remind everyone, yes, Tan is in first place, but can anyone catch her tomorrow?
Catch me if you can. Zhongyi is leading with 6.5 out of 8, and Alice Lee won her game today, and she is only 1 point behind with 5.5 points out of 8. Bibisara Assaubayeva and Carissa are 4.5 points out of 8. Then Muzychuk and Divya Deshmukh are at 50%. Stavroula Tsolakidou has 3.5 points. Humpy Koneru 3 points. Vaishali Rameshbabu has 2.5 points, and Alexandra Kosteniuk has 2 points after her 4th draw.
So it's only the 2 players who can win the tournament tomorrow, Zhongyi or Alice Lee. Now let's take a look at the pairings for the last and final round of the Cairns Cup.
So Stavroula Tsolakidou is playing with the white pieces against Zhongyi. Alice Lee is taking on Carissa. Bibisara Assaubayeva is facing Humpy Koneru. Divya Deshmukh is playing against Muzychuk, and Alexandra Kosteniuk is playing with white pieces against Vaishali Rameshbabu.
Well, everything will be decided tomorrow. It's definitely a day you won't want to miss. We can't wait to see how it all wraps up tomorrow. But another great day and 3 decisive results today. Great chess, great fights.
I agree with you, Nazi, but I'm looking forward to this last round because I feel that everything is still possible.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for watching us today. Join us again tomorrow for the final round at the Cairns Cup. Good night from St. Louis.
Bye.
This has been a presentation of the St. Louis Chess Club. Any reproduction or distribution of this content without the express written consent of the St. Louis Chess Club is prohibited.